A two-goal sneak home in Test number 1, and now the Silver Ferns head from Manchester to Nottingham for the second clash of 3 against old foes England. This is the Test which could just win in the series and give them the perfect start to World Champs year. Good morning and welcome to our live coverage of the second Test, Silver Ferns against England, coming to you live very shortly from Nottingham. And my partners in crime keeping me company this morning in the Silver Ferns corner, former Silver Fern Tanya Dalton, and in the almost New Zealand corner, even though she's wearing England colours.
I would suggest that I'm in the Silver Ferns corner
this
morning.
Well, your 3 children are born here,
Correct.
aren't they?
Thank you.
So
go the Ferns.
Tanya, a 2-goal margin in the first Test. So just a slim win for the Silver Ferns, but there's plenty of good to come out of it for them.
Yeah, there is. Look, they'll take the win, which is an important way to start the series. But I wouldn't say it's the prettiest performance I've seen from them in terms of turnovers down their attacking end. I thought they struggled. I've never seen Maria Tutaia, Irene van Dijk so off. And then that affects the whole flow of the feeders. You know, we brought in Camilla Lees, we brought in Anna Thompson. They got a run. So that flow struggled a little bit. So plenty to work on. But like I said, they started with a win.
And the key point is it was the first test of a long year. They've had a good layoff, they've been on a high and they've gone to the beach and relaxed. And the first test is always like that. There are always a lot of errors, and that's why Tanya said their focus would have been to win so they could lay the foundation and then build on that.
England, conversely, will be seriously encouraged by that result.
Look, they will. They started slow. They were down 6-0, and I thought, here we go. They're going to go down the gurgler. But, you know, the last quarter, they came to the party. They came within 2. And, you know, they pushed the Ferns. And if they can start how they finished, that last quarter will give them so much confidence starting the second Test.
And that's where the Ferns let them in a little bit, is by just taking their foot off the pedal, because they're in total control and sometimes you do ease off. But England took advantage of it, and the fluency that they had during the first 3 quarters finally paid off for them because they weren't making those errors, and they will see that as a chance to start this first Test on a positive note and give themselves a good chance of actually winning.
So both of these teams are building up to the July World Champs in Singapore, which we just can't wait for. How important is it that the coaches don't read too much into these games?
Look, for the likes of Ruth Aitken, Sue Hawkins, you know, that England, they're going into their Super League. We're heading into our ANZ Champs, you know, next month. So this is their last chance probably before, say, June, where they get their team together. So they want to see the players out there under pressure performing and see what they can do. The likes of these new ones, the likes of Lees, Thompson, have they got the goods to be in that Silver Ferns team in July?
I think that's what Ruth Aitken is particularly looking at, the mid-court. Grace Rasmussen went to the Commonwealth Games. She's not a shoo-in for the World Championships. So with Leota out and Temepara George back here recovering from an injury, it gives Ruth the chance to look at Lees and Thompson and compare them during the course of a game and see if they are the people that should take them to the World Championships.
Rightio, let's head to Nottingham now and catch up with our commentary team on the ground.
We are in the East Midlands for the second Test between the Silver Ferns and England. It's just 2 days since New Zealand started their way to that 2-goal win in Manchester. Now we're in Nottingham, a little to the southeast. With me again, former England captain and assistant coach, Kendra Slavinsky. And Kendra, neither side will have been particularly pleased with that first Test performance. How do you spruce things up in just 2 days?
Well, it's typical international netball, you know. You travel, you train, you play. Both teams will have to cope. At the end of the day, there'll be specific things that each coach will want to work on.
And a blow for England. More news on Jiva Mentor. What's the latest?
The latest is, unfortunately, is that she has a back injury, which has kept her out of the 12 today. I think one of our greatest worries is perhaps that she won't make it in time for the ANZ, but who knows?
We'll have to wait and see, but stay with us because we'll be back soon with the second Test from Nottingham.
Thank you, Jen, and we'll really look forward to it. Jenny and Kendra are going to run us through the full team rundowns. But as they mentioned there, no Jiva Mentor for England, and that, Tanya Dalton, is huge.
Massive. We know what a sensational player she is, not just her, but her combination with Sonia Makloma. They're world class. So for England, a major loss. But in saying that, great to see the likes of Stacey Francis, you know, Beckford Chambers get out and get a run and see what they're capable of.
And that's what this Test series is all about. Sue Hawkins would be very happy with Beckford Chambers, particularly in that first Test. She Tutai really struggled to get her hands on the ball, and when she did get her hands on the ball in the shooting circle, we know she was pretty inaccurate. So even though Mentor's not there, and she will certainly be their starting keeper, it's nice for Hawkins to have this option with Bickford, Chambers and Francis.
Well, let's duck inside the Silver Ferns camp now, and Jenny Woods caught up with the team after that 2-goal win. And the aim in this test is for them to just keep on building after that shaky old start.
Yeah, it certainly was a challenge. 3-win teams we lost in the last wee while, but I thought it was a great opportunity to get both Camilla and Anna out on court, so that was awesome.
All of us as a team, our timing was a bit off, and we probably just want to get our flow back and just have confidence in each other.
Definitely a bit scratchy out there, but there's still some positives to take from that. We'll go home tonight, recover well, and definitely look at our training for tomorrow.
Well, I think this game would have boosted their confidence, and they're a really nuggeting team, and their defence I felt was really strong, so I think they'll just build on this game and come out even stronger for the next game.
So it's just scoring our own centre passes. You know, we get the same amount, so scoring that and any turnover ball that we do get, because we don't get much of it.
I think that we've got to be a bit stronger in terms of the leads that we make on attack. England are a very aggressive team, and we've just got to absorb that pressure and be really strong.
Well, we heard from Millie Lees in that gaggle of Silver Ferns players and, of course, coach Ruth Aiken. And Millie Lees gets the start again today, and she'll be a whole lot less nervous than when she made her debut in that first test.
Well, you'd probably remember, Kath, your first test, I remember running away, running around and just didn't want to get in the way, which is, I think, for her. She didn't do anything wrong, but I think she sort of hid. I think she needs to stand up and say, hey, I'm part of this 7, I'm starting, and a bit more urgent, hitting that circle edge, her and Laura working in unison sort of thing, and I think we'll see more of that today, hopefully.
Yeah, and there's no doubt they really struggled around that transverse line when both Thompson and Lees were there, because, as Tanya said, you stand back, you let the senior players take over. But I think the reason that Lisa's starting again is Aitken would have said, look, take control, play your natural game and actually get out there and dominate, because she's a strong personality, and I think once she starts feeling more comfortable like that, then the Silver Ferns will benefit.
The other change is Anna Scarlett will get the start in this test at goalkeep, and I'm so interested to see how she's going to go. She really responds to getting a start out on court, doesn't she?
Well, what an amazing story. She came in last year into the Commonwealth Games. She'd been away from the game for 3 years. We saw a taste of her at wing defence, and that seemed to be where Ruth liked her. I know what a menace she is to shooters. She used to put me off. She's like a fart in a bottle, you sort of type player. But, we saw her up against Romelda.
Can you say that on TV?
She just did. Semantics.
We've seen her against Romelda Aitken. She probably didn't go so well, so she's getting another opportunity at goalkeeper, and I think she's a stunning goalkeeper, so it'll be interesting. And
it's probably a good matchup. Brownfield's not a strong mover, and Scarlett likes to get in there and just use her arms and her footwork. It's very different if she was lining up against someone like Sherelle McMahon, who I think she would struggle against more. So being against Brownfield, I think will do her confidence a world of good, and if she can get off to a good start, she'll be keen to put up her hand and say, look, I don't want to just be in this team, I actually want to be in the starting 7.
Well, the Silver Ferns, of course, needing to build after winning by just 2. England, though, encouraged by losing by just 2.
Yeah, exactly. We just thought we know we've got the tools that we need to kind of give New Zealand a competitive game and beat them. We just went back to our original game plans and just thought, let's play basic, simple netball, not panic, and it worked for us. So it's definitely something to take forward to the next test.
I think we're just going to come out how we finished off today, because that's what worked for us, and we just need to do it for the whole 60 minutes.
Well, they certainly did their job, did Stacey Francis and Sonia McCloma in the last test. Today, Ebony Beckford-Chambers gets the start with Sonia McCloma. Defensively, though, it's going to be massively important for England to stamp their dominance early on. Yeah, but you heard Sonia McCloma say there, they've taken confidence from that last quarter, start how they finished. And, McCloma, she's one of the... I felt she was quite good at goalkeep, and she's one of those players that wears you down as a shooter. She gets penalised a lot, but it's just that frustrating, I have to take another penalty shot. And you could see Irene was getting a little bit frustrated. And the chatter as well.
Well, she not only wears her opponents down, I think she wears the umpires down as well, because she got warned in that first game. She gets a little bit overexcited and sort of questions a lot of calls, but she's a star player, there's no doubt about that. And defensively, I think England did well throughout the entire course of the game. The key for them is their attacking circle. They need to penetrate the ball and get it into the circle and go direct to the post, because that's what Sue Hawkins said in that first test. They only did that in the last quarter, and as a result, they dominated that last quarter.
I think down there attacking end, there were flashes of brilliance in that circle. When they when it opened up, and I think Cookie's the one that does that, the way she moves that circle, she cuts it, she slices. When the feeders have the vision to put it in, it looks stunning, and I think that's the important thing for our defence is to keep their eyes open, heads up.
Maria Tutaia, you know, Commonwealth Games final, she was the absolute star. We all just will always remember her performance. And then she goes to, in the first half of that first test, 38%. So what will be in store for her today?
Oh, she'll put that one behind her. She'll be her own worst critic, you know. She'll want to move on and step it up.
Well, the anthems have begun, so let's now cross live to Nottingham for the second test, Silver Ferns, England.
Capital FM Arena in Nottingham, moments away from a start in the second of 3 tests between New Zealand and England. And I can tell you this is a famous stadium, not for netball I have to say, but for ice skating. Nottingham being the home of Torval and Dean. And the court is actually sitting on top of an ice skating rink. Now the team for New Zealand, and a big day for Anna Scarlett, gets the start at goalkeep. Her 50th test for New Zealand, partnered at the back by her skipper Casey Williams at goal defence. And a second test for Millie Lees. She takes the centre bib with Tutaia and Van Dijk in the shooting circle. And look for the injection of Danica Wipiiti from the bench at some time during the game. Ruth Aiken keen to get all her players on court.
This England 7 will be looking to start much better than in Manchester. You've got Brownfield coming in for Harton. Beckford-Chambers did very well in the circle with McCloma in the first test. And look out for McCloma against Van Dijk. The contest between those old stalwarts of both teams should be exciting. And talking of exciting, Sasha Corbin, the young player, may be injected into the game off the bench.
And that's right, Kendra Slavinsky. Since that first test just 2 days ago, a lot of talk around these young guns for England. Beckford-Chambers, Stacey Francis, Serena Guthrie, they're the future, aren't they?
They are very exciting players, and I think it's been a long time since England had such depth at this open level. It's exciting.
So not far away now as Louisa Brownfield takes the court for England, getting the start this time, as Kendra said, in the shooting circle, and joined by Pam Cookie. And Kendra Cookie, she was in good form at the Commonwealth Games, and she was good form the other night.
Yeah, she really is the kingpin in the attack, particularly after the other night where perhaps both teams had very patchy play. Cookie will always be relatively consistent for England.
And if we take a look at the New Zealand shooting circle, we can be sure that Maria Tutaia in particular will be looking for a better game. She shot just 38% in the first half of that first test. Things did get better for her as the game went on, but she'll want a better one here in Nottingham. Sarah Bayman takes the centre position and receives the ball from Teresa Prince. Set to go. Second test action underway. Tamsin Greenway going cross-court to Bayman. And as you said, Kendra, England will really want a much better start in this game.
They certainly can't afford to allow the Silver Ferns to get any kind of lead on them. They came back very strongly in Manchester, but if they could take the lead, who knows how this game will pan out.
Scarlett hoping that batter might have been clean, but she's called back, closing the distance. So this time it's England first on the scoreboard. Millie Lees now finding Langman. Remember this rejigged front half of the court for New Zealand due to the absence of Temepara George from this tour and the calf strain to Liana Leota. Tippy toes for Tutaia on the baseline. That's the start she was after.
Yes, a very positive start from both teams, letting the ball go early, looking to get second phase ball, gaining ground off each centre pass.
Jade Clark, familiar to New Zealanders through her stint with the Waikato Bay of Plenty Magic. Great work, Anna Scarlett. Terrific guard, jump and collection of the ball.
And that was certainly a much tidier transfer of passage of play for the Kiwis at the start of this quarter.
And what a career for Anna Scarlett. 50 tests she pulls up tonight. Had that breakaway for a couple of years on the beach volleyball circuit. Back with a vengeance.
And that was a strong follow of the shot by Tutaia. Didn't tend to follow her shot much in the first test.
And Cookie getting across to spoil things.
Advantage obstruction, wing! Offside centre, free pass inside.
Would have perhaps expected Van Dijk to turn and look for the shot.
Van Dijk certainly had a torrid tussle with Sonia McCloma. Oh, unlucky for McCloma. Did well to get the bat, but it fell into the hands of Tutaia, and she makes them pay.
And it's McCloma, the birthday girl today.
32.
A spring chicken.
Just a chicken. I suppose she is when you think of the age of the woman she's marking. 38, Irene Van Dijk, and still going strong. Oh, nicely done, Pam Cookie. Just put out an arm and haul that ball in. 3-2, New Zealand lead.
And that was lovely work off the centre pass by England, really closing down the space on the Silver Ferns. Very lucky to get that sideline.
Where you are.
Tamsin Greenway called for the contact. So penalty pass. Casey Williams at goal defence, right up on that transverse line helping. As soon as she saw that ball in Van Dijk's hands, she turned, ran back down the court.
And that's lovely play by England, really looking for Brownfield to be a target in there.
But held ball is the call. South African umpire, Teresa Prince. So another good game for Scarlett. And Tutaye found Langman in the nick of time. So the shooting woes of a couple of days ago seem to be over for Maria Tutaye. She was the talk of the town after that Commonwealth Games final in Delhi.
And again, New Zealand having to use their backup players. Williams using that 1-2 with Lees.
The holding keeper. Step forward, step forward. That's it.
There's the first miss for New Zealand. Unfortunate for Sarah Bayman. Kept the ball in play, but it was to New Zealand's advantage. So they get another crack.
Yes, it was great jump on the shot by Beckford Chambers.
On the ball, goal defence. Advantage goal.
Oh,
England.
loose pass. England can't afford that sort of thing. Oh, and that was dangerous from Henry. But Williams collected it.
Advantage obstruction again, centre.
Yeah, good vision. Van Dijk had the hand up, but she's missed the shot.
Throw it, England. You're off. Throw in.
And she's deemed to have been out of court. I would have thought she was in by some distance, but never mind. It's England in possession.
Advantage obstruction, goal attack.
Bramfield playing a lot out of the circle. It's good work by Williams and Scarlett.
Brownfield hesitant on the shot.
Much better second phase by New Zealand.
That's deliberate and continual. Outside. It's outside. Outside.
McCloma being told, continual and deliberate. She had a little tussle with umpire Paula Ferguson in the first test. Got a warning.
Contact, wing.
So watch that spot.
You're holding goal defence.
Yes, I think umpires might have looked at the DVDs from the first test. There was lots of body on body, lots of hands in that first test.
And umpire Ferguson, certainly no stranger to Sonia McCloma. Ferguson, an ANZ umpire. And of course, Sonia McCloma, a member of the New South Wales Swifts.
That was a good pickup by Pamela Cookie for England that rescued that attack for England, but Bramfield just very poor on the shot, just can't find the ring.
That's a good ball from Langman. Sometimes Langman is guilty of being hesitant of putting that ball into Van Dijk. She let that one go.
Yeah, she's just got to see the space and just let the ball go. She's got finesse. She just needs to place it for Van Dijk because Van Dijk will get it.
So a little bit of a repeat here from what we saw in Manchester. New Zealand out to a 5-goal lead. But we all know how that changed halfway through the first quarter. Oh, and a few bats and a miss for Van Dijk, just too much on it.
But that was good work by Lees because she wasn't doing that in the first test. She didn't seem to have the confidence to do that. It's a good run for the baseline for Bramfield, very well timed.
And England's centre pass to come. So a chance here for the home side to close this 4-goal gap.
Wing, contact, penalty. Yes. Vantage obstruction centre.
And that was a nice ball from Tamsin Greenway.
Yes, that was much better use of her space and our height by Bramfield.
Oh, Langman weaves her way through the English defence. Nice combination between Langman and Tutaye. Again, that shot short.
Lovely switch by Cookie. Oh, Brownfield's hands let her down.
And great combination work. Williams managed to get a ball, tipped it away from Brownfield. Scarlett there to tidy up.
Advantage of shot in centre and contact centre.
And that was a good decision from Van Dijk. Realised if she'd given that ball to Langman, it would have been short.
Contact. That's it. That's it.
Yes, they managed to split both England defenders there, holding off for the post and that pop pass.
Advantage breaking wing.
Good work, New Zealand defence.
And again, it's just the finishing off, the tidy finishing off, the accuracy that's letting England down around that circle at the moment.
And again, we see that combination between Tutayer and Langman down the sideline. Working nicely for New Zealand.
The use of those 1-2s will really gain them ground and at speed, which is quite difficult to defend.
A quick note from Ruth Aiken. That's great work from Millie Lees. Makes it look easy. The margin is 6. 4 minutes remaining in the first quarter. And again, loose play from England. They get themselves in a good position, Kendra, but sometimes just the finishing off the last pass is missing.
Yes, they just need to be a little bit more patient. Just wait for the right space to open up. They got a turnover. That was better use of the triangles for England.
England needed that. 11-6.
And that drive off the second pass, that centre pass, is really cutting through the English defence.
Lees picks up what Cookie leaves behind.
Advantage contact centre.
It's good work by McCloma and Beckford Chambers on the switch.
Up near the line. In the goal third. That's it. Offside then. Free pass.
And Jade Clark harrying on the edge of the circle.
Advantage obstruction and continual centre.
Yes, that's neat work. Obviously, New Zealand have been very specific about what they want from their shooters in the circle.
And I think already, Kendra, we can see this is a tidier performance from New Zealand.
Yes, you can certainly see the improvement in the speed of pass. You can also see it's a lot tidier in terms of them making the preliminary move off the body to get free.
Arms first. Step aside.
A strong finish to this first quarter from the Silver Ferns, 14-6. And a turnover to boot, so this is good for New Zealand.
Advantage contact centre.
Williams and Henry just steadying the back.
Advantage obstruction. Obstruction. Inside, pass or shot.
McCloma having plenty to say, as usual. Oh, unkind, but Tutayer gets it again in the end. So things falling the way of New Zealand at the moment. We're into the final minute of the first quarter, 15-6.
Advantage breaking wing defence.
And that one went with a hope and a prayer, and it was good work by McCloma, but again, England wasteful on possession.
Williams able to get across, and now England will have to move quickly as the seconds tick by. Bayman just loses a footing, and gets a shove in the back from Jolene Henry to boot. Anna Scarlett, she's had a good first 15 minutes.
Yes, just too much movement around that circle. Great hands by Lees.
Terrific work from Lees. When you think this is test number 2, there is the whistle for the end of the first quarter. A much better quarter for New Zealand. They lead at the break 15-6. Quarter time in Nottingham. It's New Zealand leading England 15-6. And I can tell you that the New Zealand huddle was looking pretty pleased with themselves on the sideline. Plenty of talk on both camps. But an interesting stat, Kendra, in that first 15 minutes, New Zealand had 21 attempts at goal, England just 8.
Yes, and it really showed. They're finding Van Dijk, they're gaining ground on most of their ball from back line and from centre pass, and they've found their invisible thread that links the back to the front through the mid-court.
So the teams come back out on court at this Capital FM arena in Nottingham. Two great competitors, Irene Van Dijk, Sonia McCloma. And there is the coaches for England, Sue Hawkins on the right, Anna Mays, her assistant, on the left. And they'll have a few concerns, Kendra.
Yes, I think they've been scarleted and Williamsed, if to coin a phrase. I think those two have been awesome in the first quarter in that circle.
And look at Anna Scarlett just rearing to go. The second quarter begins. 15-6, New Zealand lead. Bayman scrambles to get that ball back. Bayman did well to find Cookie through the arms of the New Zealand defenders.
Vantage centre. Vantage contact.
And that's good disruption by the England circle defence. Now England have got to make sure that they take it through the court, get those opportunities up.
Toutahier trying to do her best to rectify the missed shot.
Advantage obstruction wing.
Oh yes, Bayman off balance when she threw that pass. New Zealand pounced.
Centre third. Left.
Jolene Henry with the throw-in.
That's neat width by New Zealand. Great creation by Toutahier, dragging the defence across the top of the circle.
She gave Van Dijk an ocean of space.
And it's a real battle for England just to get out for their centre pass at the moment.
Advantage obstruction, advantage moving off goal defence.
A bounce pass under those long arms of Scarlett, but the shot is short. Brownfield regathers.
Advantage contact on the
Williams
fence.
just about through. Bustling everywhere.
Goalkeeper on the ball.
Brownfield's just got to find her rhythm. It's these inconsistencies that'll probably be annoying her and probably annoying the coaching team too.
We talked about Brownfield, didn't we, Kendra? She's deserved the start because she has been more solid than Jo Harton.
But at the moment, she's actually playing a Jo Harton game, which is lots of movement. And I think most will agree that perhaps Louisa Brownfield's forte is not her speed.
Speaking of speed, that's pretty pacey from New Zealand. And nicely finished. The Silver Ferns now push out to a lead of 10.
And Van Dijk, she didn't move for that. She just waited.
It would look strange, but Laura Langman, totally in the air. A wee smile from Ruth Aiken. Probably not exactly how they've practiced it, but it worked. Williams in the air.
On the side, that's it. All the fence contact. Inside,
But I think New Zealand would have looked at the tapes from the first test and seen that England play that long ball across instead of looking to the top.
And that's a terrible mistake from Brown, or miscommunication, I suppose. Thought that Bayman was right behind her, and the ball just bounced out of court.
Good work, Cookie.
Just about spoiled by Williams, but not quite. The crowd loves it.
It's on release. Yes.
Yes, Bramfield is not having a very happy time in there, and Pamela Cookie is having to work extra hard to make up for it.
Vantage obstruction.
But I'm certainly very impressed, apart from that pass, with Millie Lee's start to this game. Much more composed, much more confident.
That was unfortunate for England. Jade Clark had done so well to read that pass from Lees. But again, it just seems to be, you know, they say you make your own luck, but the luck seems to be going with the Ferns.
But I guess if anyone's really looking at the trajectory or where the pass is coming from with England, it's coming from very low. Great switch.
That's great work by New Zealand defence. They've had the England attack at 6s and 7s. England going from one side to the other, and in the end, coughing the ball up. Too much pressure.
Wing obstruction penalty.
And at the moment, Jenny, I just feel that New Zealand have any answers to whatever England are going to throw at them.
Ball defence. Contact.
I have to say, after that first test in Manchester, I didn't think New Zealand would come out and play as badly as that again, and they haven't.
They wouldn't have dared. Not with Aitken and Tamanu at them, they wouldn't have dared. And also for their own pride.
New Zealand. Holding time.
And time being called by Louisa Brownfield. Goal shoot for England. There's Jo Harton warming up. And Sue Hawkins comes onto the court, calls the troops in. Brownfield getting some attention to her neck by the look of it, just moving from side to side. A chance for the Silver Ferns too to gather themselves. 28 they lead, 12 goals. Still 9.5 minutes remaining in this first half. There is Jo Harton taking off the shirt, so she may well be making an entry to this game. And what do you think, Kendra? Would you make the change? Brownfield looking uncomfortable.
I think you have to. I think that change has to come in, and to be honest, it's not even a brave decision. I think it's the right decision. But it's interesting, the contrast of the two coaches. Considering she's 101, Ruth Aitken, she looks pretty good on it. Sorry, I should qualify that, shouldn't I?
101 tests, not bad. 107 Dame Lois Muir. That's the total she's chasing down, and you have to say she will chase it down probably this year. It's certainly quite an achievement, and there is the goal shoot bid on Jo Harton.
And it looks like Francis is coming in.
Oh, wholesale changes for England. Stacey Francis at goal defence, and Serena Guthrie at wing defence. So this is almost a new look side for England midway through the second quarter.
Barney's breaking wing and obstruction.
But back to business. Oh, and it's a turnover straight away for England. So Francis and Guthrie, two of these young guns we talked about earlier.
That was neat. That was much better. That's what England need.
And they've got the centre pass to come. And that's not so neat. Straight out of court.
No, Greenway really needed to run onto that ball at an angle.
She's been quiet today, Tamsin Greenway.
But I do think that Henry is really working the ground around her.
Lees, waited patiently for Tutayet to zoom across the baseline. And there's her mate to pick up the rebound, but that's not going to go in either.
From inside.
And she's deemed out of court. So here's a gain for England. Oh, unlucky for Jo Hart, and she's done the hard bit.
Yes, and that was wonderful vision by Guthrie. I do think this youngster has such a talent.
Hails from Jersey, I think, Serena Guthrie.
Yes, she came over, she left her family at a very young age and started her training under Lynn Dunson at Bath.
Great ball from Sarah Bayman. So 2 goals in a row for England.
Vantage obstruction centre. Vantage wing.
Oh, well seen, Stacey Francis. Great take.
So these changes that Sue Hawkins has made, they were wholesale. They seem to be working.
Yes, a little bit more speed and impetus from this group of England players.
And look at this, make that 3 goals in a row. Pass to come.
Contact on the fence. Where you are.
And Bar Harton from the back. Francis, Guthrie, Bayman, and the front end, Bar Harton, have all played together at Team Bath in our Super League.
And England on a roll.
Obstruction.
They've cut the lead to 8.
Vantage centre.
The speed. That was terrific work from Stacey Francis. Look at Sue Hawkins. Absolutely delighted. Irene van Dijk was quite sure she had that ball under control, but she didn't move towards it.
And England just working both sides of the court to keep that ball alive.
Score this, and it'll be 5 in a row for England. It's not to be. Snatched by Casey Williams.
Contact on the ball.
Now what can New Zealand do?
Vantage contact, goal attack.
They need to settle,
Offside, shooter.
just get their rhythm back.
Langman just needs to play a little bit deeper.
Yeah, a bit of confusion there between Van Dijk and Langman as to who was going for that ball.
Yeah, Langman for the last couple of New Zealand attacks have been playing quite deep.
And what a surprise, Kendra, to see a time called by New Zealand. It's Maria Tutayet having some ice applied. And I think Ruth Aiken will be wanting to stop the rot. But really a very good passage of play for England.
Yes, certainly. They've come on. They've obviously listened to what Hawkins wants. She's obviously delighted with that outcome. She's probably thinking, why didn't I have that 7 on to start with?
Well, very telling that she hasn't even bothered going out to the team talk. She thinks, oh, I'll just sit here. They're doing all right. But certainly those changes paying off. 2012 with just over 5 minutes remaining in the first half. There is Stacey Francis. Her speed off the line is sensational.
Yeah, she's a very fit athlete. There she goes. She just sees that ball beautifully, playing off the space. Great angles onto the ball. Any of the young Kiwis watching, that's how to do it.
That was the first one, and then not long after that one, she took a similarly one away, grabbed it straight out of the hands of Van Dijk. So this is good. This is hotting up.
Goal defence.
England possession. Bayman. Dangerous cross-court pass. They get away with it.
Contact wing defence. That's it. Advantage obstruction. Obstruction.
There's another for England. New Zealand have not scored for some time.
Advantage breaking goal defence.
That was good patience by Bayman.
Williams going across to spoil the party.
Where you are, that's it.
Oh, neat work by Harton. Oh,
You wondered, Kendra, perhaps she should have shot it herself, though she's won it back. This time she'll take the shot.
Obstruction.
That's what she's there for.
yes, that was certainly one of the comments that Hawkins made at the end of the first half, where she wanted her shooters to aim for the post, go for the post.
And now New Zealand, they may be 6 goals in front, but they desperately need one here. As the crowd gets behind their team.
And there's lots of arms and body by McCloma.
Absolutely tying Van Dijk up. There's a goal.
England.
At last, from a New Zealand point of view, it's taken a while.
Advantage contact
Oh,
and
snappy.
offside centre. Goal defence.
Much snappier. And that's New Zealand's form of snappiness as well.
Again, she's called that out of court. Interesting. Oh, thrown it straight away, though.
Yes, that was poor by
And the-
Francis.
Contact.
Really, this game is hotting up.
We play the contact first. Okay. Yes.
Teresa Prince just saying, we'll take it back for the contact. Bayman all over Langman.
Watch it. Obstruction. Persistent.
And a clap of the hands from Langman, as if to say, yes, ma'am, she's been doing it all night.
And this is where Bayman has to stay composed. She can't afford for that ball to be advanced.
She's starting to look frustrated, Sarah Bayman.
There we go.
This is where she needs to rein it in.
That's right.
And umpire Prince has advanced the penalty.
And off the court, of course, Bayman and Langman are really good mates, so it makes it even more interesting.
We always play harder against your mates.
Advantage offside wing defence.
Oh, deft from Cookie.
Contact keeper.
Just about getting around Scarlett, but called for the contact.
Yes, and those different dynamics in that circle are really putting the pressure on Williams and Scarlett to find answers.
Great positioning from Langman, right on the top of the circle. Oh, Sonia McCloma just about pulling that one off.
Did she say advantage? How can that be advantage?
Perhaps because McCloma tapped it and it fell back into Van Dijk's hands. I don't know. But certainly, McCloma is making life very difficult for Irene Van Dijk.
Advantage contact wing defence. Advantage obstruction goal defence.
That was lovely work by Greenway.
Oh, that was a rushed shot from Cookie.
Advantage shooter contact.
That was lovely. Good vision, good early vision.
You've got to say, Tutaye does put in some lovely ball to Van Dijk.
Advantage breaking wing.
And there's another one. Except McCloma again doing enough to unsettle it.
Yes.
Scarlett's left on her own.
Listen to the crowd applaud that play for England. That was off a New Zealand centre pass. It's 24-17 into the final minute of the first half. Joe Harton saying, surely you were calling the penalty and I should have a shot, but the umpire saying, no, I was calling time. And so half-time it is in Nottingham. It's New Zealand leading England 24 goals to 17.
Welcome back. It's half-time in Nottingham, so you're stuck with us as we dissect the first half of things as the Silver Ferns take on England in the second test of their series. And what a first half it's been. It's been a game of 2 quarters, that's for sure. New Zealand won the first quarter by 9. England won the second by 2, with the injection into the game of Stacey Francis at goal defence and then Joe Harton at goal shoot. Unbelievable. What a comeback.
Oh, and that's the funny thing about England, you know, they can have a couple of good things go well and then they go on the surge, but those changes I thought were outstanding. Brownfield, I thought Scarlett got in her head, so she needed to be taken off. Joe Harton's come in and her and Cookie are moving that circle, and, you know, Williams and Scarlett were sort of struggling down the other end. Stacey Francis, man, she's come out with some boomers.
Yeah, Kath.
I think you've got to give credit to Sue Hawkins. She seems to make the right moves at the right time. And England are their own worst enemy. Even though they lost that first quarter, the number of turnovers they had must have been driving Hawkins mad. So they came out in that second quarter. They had the likes of Francis bringing some injection into the game. And as a result, they cut down on their errors. And sure enough, they're back in the game, just 7 goals down.
For New Zealand, we've talked a lot about Millie Lees through the midcourt, but Laura Langman's been outstandingly good.
Oh, she's taking a lot, every second pass virtually down there, and her feeds into the circle, you know, the way she's hitting the circle edge, yeah, she's certainly a dominant force in there.
Not really a wing attack either, so she's pretty good.
And defensively, I do have to ask quickly, Kath, one of the great things about the combinations that Ruth Aiken, you know, has as options is when you look at a combination like Casey Williams and Anna Scarlett, they can both play goal defence and goal keep, so they're familiar on both sides of the court, and it's just a joy to watch, isn't it?
Great headache for Aiken, isn't it, having so many options in defence. But look, Scarlett started off very strongly. I think she fell away in that second quarter, and as a result, the Ferns started to struggle. But at least Aiken's having a look at these players against one of the best teams in the world, and Scarlett certainly put her hand up there early on, but she'll want some consistency in her game, so she'll be hoping she'll be on for the second half. I'm not sure what Aiken will do there.
Well, Kath, let's crunch the numbers now for that first half, and they've all pretty much gone New Zealand's way, apart from that goal shooting, which we'll get to soon, but really New Zealand have been dominant.
They have been, but the key point that I indicated earlier with the turnovers, though, 16 to 10, so England are making more errors, so if they can cut down on that, then they'll certainly find themselves right, knocking over walls and etc. to try and overtake the Silver Ferns. But they always do that. They have some really good patches and they throw the ball away. But the goal shooting times is interesting at this level.
Well, Silver Ferns, how often do we see them in the 60s, 69%? And that is full credit to, you know, McCloma, Francis coming in and really rattling them. England, Cookie, you know, 78%, but she's doing a lot of work, and Joe Harton came on there and made a big difference, I think.
Well, there's no shortage of spice, that's for sure. England have just won the second quarter by 2 goals. New Zealand won the first by 9, so it's all on for the second half. And we're back live in Nottingham shortly, so you stay right where you are.
We await the resumption of the second test in Nottingham, and there are changes for New Zealand. Katrina Grant will come on at goalkeeper. Laura Langman will move to centre. And we see for the first time on this tour of Britain, Danica Wibiiti taking the court at goal shooter as Irene van Dijk heads to the bench. The other change, Anna Thompson coming on at wing attack, as she did in Manchester just a couple of days ago. Kendra, what do you think? Those are good changes?
Well, they needed to do something because that England change that Hawkins put in had real impetus, had real flow and real menace about it.
It certainly worked for them, didn't it? England taking that second quarter, 11 goals to 9. New Zealand will want to make their stamp early in this second half. They lead 24-17, but there was quite a passage of play in that second quarter when they didn't score.
Yes, there was a real contest in the circle between McCloma and Van Dijk.
Second half underway in Nottingham. New Zealand in possession.
Done. Contact wing.
Jolene Henry helping Tamsin Greenway on her way to the floor. Quiet game so far from Greenway.
Goal attack. Advantage contact and offside wing. Step.
Oh, unlucky for New Zealand. That was a lovely twirl by Danica Wipiiti, but it's all for naught. England now. A chance here to score early in the second half.
Yes, a very steady build-up through the middle.
Vantage, goal attack, obstruction.
A definite change of pace.
Vantage, ball contact.
And wasted by Guthrie.
Yep, I think she realised she was running out of time. She was off balance. And it was easy pickings for Katrina Grant.
Advantage offside, centre.
Now it's New Zealand again being made to go backwards. Guthrie through on Anna Thompson.
That's it.
Yeah, Thompson needs to put a change of direction and earlier.
Again in the more unfamiliar position of wing attack for Thompson in this game. Played it at under 21 level, but certainly more recently playing at goal attack. So another turnover by the Silver Ferns. But England not able to capitalise. So again, New Zealand with a chance.
Continue offside, centre.
That was good hands by Wipiiti. Wasn't comfortable taking that ball.
So the first goal of the second half takes almost 2 minutes. Both sides just testing each other out.
Wing obstruction, penalty. Yes.
It's good front marking, but lovely speed to get in behind by Harton.
She did well, didn't she? She just about ran out of court.
Contact centre.
Oh, and that's very cluttered in the middle from New Zealand. Unfortunate for New Zealand. Bayman had gone offside, so New Zealand will retain possession.
Oh, lovely setup by Wipiiti. Totally foxed Francis.
And there's her first goal on this tour of England.
Lovely coverage by Williams. Grant lost on the dodge, but a teammate covered the ground for her.
It's almost like what you call in rugby lazy running, but it worked for Williams. Just came back in time to collect the ball.
Again, centre. Obstruction. Goal defence.
Maria Tutayer pleased with that.
You're causing a delay, centre. New Zealand.
Yes, Sarah Bayman. I think she's testing the umpires here. Did nothing to get that ball back for a quick release.
And that's not like Sarah Bayman. And it's gamesmanship, let's be honest.
And you can hear the voice of Captain McCloma. Hold it, to young Stacey Francis. And I guess what a boon for these young defenders, Kendra, to be led at the back by someone like McCloma.
I mean, Sonia is a phenomenal player. I mean, she's world class, which is why she gets a berth at the ANZ. But you've got Francis and Guthrie, who are very passionate about their game, and they work tremendously hard. They want to have continuous improvement.
Obstruction, penalty.
And Sonia's not going to be there forever.
Thompson waiting for the gap, and it came. get that ball away to Tutaya again.
Oh, well weighted.
She might have been lucky there.
Contact.
Seemed like a long 3 seconds.
Yes.
But there's some nice movement starting to happen with Tutaya and Whippity Iti. And it's just a case of whether Francis and McCloma can close it down.
And interesting to see this combination in the New Zealand shooting circle, Whippity and Tutaya. Last time was in the, I think, the test in Auckland against Australia, where it wasn't such a fruitful combination, you could say. Williams just about had that, but unable to hold on to it. No way through there for Anna Thompson. Guthrie called for the contact.
Ooh, that was interesting use of the feet.
I was watching that and thought that was perhaps a dance step that Tutaya's learned here.
But that was swift response by England. Got the New Zealand defence on the back foot. Oh, beautifully seen. It helped that Grant came off.
So another little lapse from New Zealand, allowing England just to pile on a couple of goals.
Advantage obstruction against centre.
Langman not wanting to put that ball in. Whippity had the space.
Advantage contact centre.
There's lots of advantage being called. McCloma's all over Whippity.
Centre, that's a warning. That is continual and deliberate. Step back beside the centre.
Again, Sarah Bayman, the target of the umpire. So Tutaya steadies the ship for New Zealand.
Advantage contact. Wing obstruction penalty. Yes. Advantage contact.
And what would you do, Kendra, when you have a player like Bayman who perhaps is drawing a lot of attention from the umpires? Do you bench them, or do you just have a timeout and say, well, look, cool it?
Well, you hope that she has the self-control to recognise that she's pushed it. And if she doesn't, then as the coach, you need to be making those decisions. But that's a lovely transfer by New Zealand.
It was a good get from Grant right off the baseline.
Wing area.
Plucked it in.
But Bayman has to rein herself in the first instance. She might not agree with the umpire, but the umpire's the one that's in charge.
Goalkeeper, you're out of play.
And it's a few times now where McCloma has started to be picked up. She's got away with quite a lot so far in this game.
I think you were saying earlier, got away with blue murder, and I think Irene van Dijk might agree with you.
Advantage breaking with defence.
But it's to the umpire's credit that they're trying to keep the flow to this game, even though there is a lot of infringements by England at the moment. It's relentless.
Stacey Francis eyed that potential rebound. It didn't fall her way, but I'm impressed by this young goal defence. Always hunting. Yes, a little two-step from Jo Harton.
Yes, that's a big mistake by Harton.
And suddenly, Kendra, again, this margin is back to 10.
But what's interesting is the interplay between Whippity.
And here we go. It had to come. You could see that this was coming. Sarah Bayman is on the sideline.
2 goals.
2 goals, says umpire Paula Ferguson. In netball, when a player's sent off, it's the prerogative of the umpire for how many goals the player's on the sideline. But I think that was pretty blatant from Sarah Bayman. She just battered the ball. And it was also silly because you could see that Thompson was about to lose a balance.
Yep. I said earlier she needed to rein herself in, and if she can't do it, then Hawkins will have to do it.
So a little bit of drama here in Nottingham.
Great touch by Francis.
just about mirrored at the other end by Casey Williams, but she's called for the contact. So well done, England. They're a player down, but they've scored.
Advantage obstruction and offside. Advantage offside.
That was almost hesitant. I don't think Tutaya could believe her luck that she was there on her own.
Hold. You need to change. No, you need to change back.
Now, Bayman's trying to come back on, but they've just got to change their bibs because Bayman was playing at centre. England had to put someone else in centre, and now they change back. So, Sarah Bayman restored to play. Just over 5 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
And a slight confusion there between Bayman and Harton. Both taking that middle ground.
Advantage, ball contact.
There's a snazzy little pass from Anna Thompson. And a pretty snappy shot to follow. Tutaya pushes it out to 11.
Advantage obstruction, goal defence. Advantage offside, centre. Goalkeeper, you hold it.
Well spotted, that umpire. It's only taken her how long? I mean, Sonia is a great player, don't get me wrong, but she just needs to make sure that she's playing around with the feet and not with the arms. And I think more international umpires know how McCloma plays.
And Sue Hawkins looking on there and watching perhaps the scoreboard tick back in favour of New Zealand, now by 12.
And that's hesitancy by Harton. She just needs to have the confidence to put it up. Good work, Cookie. I feel Langman's come into her own a lot more this quarter, much more natural at centre.
I was just thinking she looks so much more comfortable in that centre position. There, the English players warming up. 4 minutes away from the fourth quarter. Nicely followed by Jolene Henry. Watch that ball like a hawk. Langman realising nothing was on, takes it back.
And that was great unravelling by Langman. And Whippiiti has really got that roll on McCloma.
She's having a good quarter, Danica Whippiiti. Not such a good shot, just as I say that.
No, that was a good reach by McCloma.
But she's not getting so tangled with McCloma.
And that was neat interplay by England, switching across the circle, recreating the triangles, recreating the space.
And Sarah Bayman, yes, signalling that she wanted time to umpire Prince. So she comes across, and there is Sarah Bayman, been in the wars today, mostly with the umpire.
Yeah, she's not happy with some of the calls, but I guess it sounds a bit trite, but that's international netball, and you have to take what they are seeing. You have to adapt your own game.
So this is a better quarter for New Zealand. They're up by 11, remembering that they lost that second quarter by 2 goals. And there's Waimarama Taumanu, assistant coach, having plenty to say, as is Sue Hawkins. So Sarah Bayman receiving attention to her foot. Just a bit of bandages and what have you. And there we see the centre bib on the back of Karen Atkinson, the real veteran of this English side. Something like 112 tests to her name.
This is 116.
Oh, I did her an injustice. Plenty of tests to her name. And looks like she'll be getting on the court. Just 3 minutes remaining in this third quarter. 36-25 in favour of New Zealand. And certainly I think, Kendra, both sides have put out better performances so far.
Yes, it certainly has. You've got to remember that they've just come from pre-season. It's their first competition. They haven't both teams haven't even started their domestic competition yet.
Well, it is January.
It's just after Christmas.
No way through for Anna Thompson.
Keeper, contact.
And what's good to see that England have put out Sasha Corbin
Rio.
with Atkinson in the mid-court
Yes.
at wing attack.
France penalty, out of play.
I think Katrina Grant deemed to have moved too soon. So England now will want to close this gap late in the third quarter. There is Corbin, perhaps a little bit of a hop and a poor pass to Atkinson.
Yes.
Williams finds Henry, getting plenty of attention.
Oh, great work, Guthrie.
There was a poor pass from Toutayer. Oh, fingertips. Lovely take from Sasha Corbin. Now it's pushing by Katrina Grant. And it's a nice shot from Jo Harton. Sue Hawkins starting to look a bit more animated on the sideline.
It certainly seems to suggest that at the end of every injury timeout, England certainly do come back stronger.
And that contact call, yes, going against Langman. So well done, Karen Atkinson.
Advantage, obstruction, wing.
Oh, out of court.
Jo Harton clearly out of court, but not spotted.
Outside. That's enough. I'll advance the penalty. Penalty pass or shot. Yes. Yes.
So plenty of involvement from the umpires here in Nottingham.
Yes, I certainly prefer my internationals where umpires are seen but not heard.
Well, I think we all do, but you have to say, if they need to get involved, I guess they do. And once again, we're seeing from England, after a timeout, a really good elevation of their game.
Yes, and it's the intensity that's seeing the scoreline be reduced, and New Zealand have lost that intensity.
Yeah, that was just a very poor pass. Oh, and that was perhaps too much on that one for Pam Cookie. She's pretty tricky, but she couldn't pull that in.
And I certainly saw from the first test that towards the end of each quarter, I think England had superior match fitness. You've got to remember that as this squad, they played in the fast net in November.
That's right, only one member of this New Zealand team was in the fast net. That was Anna Thompson, who was actually absolutely critical to that team's success. A bit of a hurried shot from Whippy Eaty. So New Zealand again guilty of waxing and waning. They have this good passage of play and then a poor one. But there is the end of the third quarter. New Zealand still in front, but their lead is cut. It's 36-29. Three-quarter time at the Capital FM Arena in Nottingham. And again in this game, England coming back at New Zealand. They trail by 7. But Kendra, you'd say the momentum is with England.
Yes, it certainly is. What they need to ensure is that their accuracy with their possession, and if they can do that, that they can peg back this score, because New Zealand have been showing that they fade towards the end of each quarter.
Atkinson to get England underway in the fourth and final quarter. Corbin finding Harton at the top of the circle.
Advantage, contact, wing defence. Offside, wing attack.
And there's the first mistake. Good pressure from New Zealand. And at the break, we could see both coaches, Waimarama Taumanu and Ruth Aiken, really going for it with their players. Plenty of talk. because while we've seen better patches from New Zealand tonight, there's also been just some huge lapses.
Yes, there's definitely been a drop of intensity.
Oh, unfortunate for England. Offside, I think, the call. Yep. So a free pass. Oh, that ball thought about it and then bounced out. So England back in possession. Sasha Corbin. So we could be in for a thrilling end. Look at that, Guthrie. Too casual from New Zealand. Oh, but they've blown it over a third. The ball must be touched in the centre third of the court.
Great work by Atkinson.
And again, poor play from New Zealand. Atkinson had all the time in the world to come through.
And it was good recovery in the circle by Grant and Williams to delay the inevitable, I think.
Oh, just about plucked off. That's so hard to do. Jolene Henry.
Inside, free pass.
She seems to think it's hilarious.
Obstruction goal defence.
They'll get another crack at this. Obstruction by Williams. And that cuts the margin to 5. This is getting close. And she does it again, Henry. And that time, that was skillful. She didn't go offside, able to bat the ball out. So hard to do.
But that's a searching ball from Atkinson across the D. That's much better from Cookie, running in the base.
Oh, rushed shot from Pam Cookie. Now New Zealand need to gather themselves here. Oh, not like that.
Too many errors by Thompson.
Just about got by Grant. Did enough to slow England. Oh, Williams. Oh, but just... as soon as they do something marvellous, they do something ghastly.
Yes, they keep gifting that ball to England.
And now the difference, just 4 goals between these two sides, 36-32. So similar to what happened in the first test. New Zealand out to a big lead, and then England just come back.
Great hands by Francis coming from behind to Tier, which gives England the ball.
Beautifully read, Casey Williams. I don't know why the crowd are booing.
I must say the New Zealand defence have been really fantastic in keeping the turnovers happening. It's the attack that need to find the rhythm. Thompson needs to look for shorter leads. She needs to link better with Langman.
Oh, and that, yes, there is the held ball call. Yes, Ruth Aiken looking a little more sombre. I guess it was always going to be a hard task when you're missing your 2 wing attacks, George and Leota. But even so, the worrying thing is that New Zealand obviously capable of building up these big leads and then just letting them slip.
England. Where you are now. England.
And again, that's good work by Casey Williams. And Katrina Grant just holding up the ball, holding up the phases.
And she's clean, Williams, isn't she? Contesting that ball, but cleanly.
And there's the pressure.
Now, the other end of the New Zealand court needs to do it for the defensive end.
Thompson's really struggling to find space against Guthrie. Just got to be patient and look forward a little bit earlier. Give it. Too late.
Too hesitant. Whippy had held, but the ball didn't go in. So England now score this, and there's only 3 goals in it. Nice dodge, Joe Harton. And this crowd is getting louder with each goal scored. And now they're stamping their feet as the ball bobbles up out of the court. Oh, Pam Cookey does her best. Well, Kendra, we saw Australia go down to Jamaica overnight. Are we going to see an upset here?
I hope so.
Well, you would say that.
But when you look at the attacking element around the top of the D for New Zealand, it's just really struggling. And England defence are working extremely hard, but they've just got to give it. Once they turn and give, they can get round this English defence, but they're just not doing that.
Yeah, this stadium, an ice skating rink, and the signs all around it saying, keep your eye on the puck. Well, I think New Zealand simply have to keep their eye on the ball. There's a goal. It seems like it's been a long time coming.
And this is where Tutaia has to step up. Her and Langman are the experienced pair down there.
And Karen Atkinson really making Langman work.
And mistakes again by New Zealand.
So that pressure paying off for England. Again, Williams getting that long arm across. Sue Hawkins looking absolutely intently on. Langman, though, spoils things for England.
Here's Karen Atkinson's normal accuracy, just letting her down.
And it's New Zealand senior players, Williams and Langman. And amazing, Kendra, you call them senior players, they're 25 and 24. But they've been around a while now. Oh, Whippy Easy thought about hoisting it over.
But again, Thompson's inexperience really showing on that edge.
Oh, nicely done, Katrina Grant. So really, this game is all over the place.
I think ragged is too polite. It's great hands by Francis.
That's a terrific lean from Stacey Francis. And she's one possession for her side. So 38-33, 6 minutes left in the match. And time called Sasha Corbin. A wing attack for England. You'd have to say, Kendra, these timeouts called by England, for whatever reason, have worked very well for them.
Yes, they have. They've come back certainly much stronger when they've re-hit the court again. Obviously, I think Aitken will just let this play out. Doesn't look like she's putting any changes on. The rest of the New Zealand team are on the bench. Hawkins extremely animated with her centre court and attack.
She must be very pleased at the way her team has come back. The lead at one stage was 12, but England have stuck to their guns and really just waited for the mistakes to come from New Zealand, and they have come. At times, poor passing, wrong timing, missed shots.
But the frustrating thing, I think, for England is that they don't look as polished either when they're in possession, and they should be making more of this weakness in New Zealand.
So Corbin goes to the bench. Tamsin Greenway back on deck at wing attack. So England possession, 38-33. Just under 6 minutes remaining. Jolene Henry. Really has a bad game. Jolene Henry, lucky Langman. Straight through the hands of Serena Guthrie.
That's a double bounce by McCloma.
Now, which way is this call going? Yes. Danica Whippiiti saying to the umpire, really?
Advantage obstruction, wing! Advantage obstruction, wing! Advantage offside, goal!
So again, a case of New Zealand winning possession, but frittering it away.
Contact wing.
There she is again, Jolene Henry, in the thick of things.
Goal defence, contact.
Yes, I
that's
think
a nice screen by Harton there for
it looked like Katrina Grant was trying to folk dance with Joe Hart and trying to link arms. Let's do the Maxina. So 38-34. They've been as close as 3, England. And again, there's no way for that ball to go in.
And Langman is getting every other ball. That was well weighted for the run round. Will it go in?
I think it will.
You're right.
I'm always right, Kendra.
It's these
If
Kiwis.
only. So 39-34. Oh. So easy for England. Pam Cookie called for the shove. Henry receives the ball right in the face. This is hard work for New Zealand.
It's good England defence, but Langman is the one that's seeing it through.
Yeah, bit of a hopeful shot from Whippiiti. 3.5 minutes remaining, 4 goals in it. And Kendra, you take a look at that scoreboard, it is an incredibly low-scoring game.
It is, but there's been patchy play from both teams. But that was a lovely pick-up by Atkinson into Cookie.
Oh, that's a solid fall for Joe Hart, and she's helped up by Grant, but that was a whack.
But it was an accident. It was certainly not deliberate.
Yeah, I don't think the booing's required.
No.
So can England make the difference too?
Advantage obstruction, keeper!
39-37. We're back to a 2-goal ball game, and it's through the hands of Tudair. This crowd is absolutely lifting the roof here in Nottingham. Oh, Tamsin Greenway, she'll rue that. Has something to say to her players. So New Zealand, can they hold their nerve? Thompson, she's had a tough game tonight.
But she's still working. She's still prepared to go for the ball.
Tutea lifts it across to Langman. No way in for New Zealand.
Langman again unravelling that play in attack. Sweet ball.
That'll do. A minute and a half. 40-37. Greenway on one leg. And that's a good take from Joe Harton.
It needs to drop, though.
And it does. So there's still time here for England. If they can force a turnover. And let's be honest, they've forced plenty already.
What happens if it goes to extra time?
Well, yes, we're used to that now, aren't we?
The last time England played against New Zealand, it went to extra time and New Zealand came out victorious.
That was a cracking game. We're into the final minute. 40 goals to 38. And this to give New Zealand just a bit of comfort. Nobody seems to want to take it.
Francis didn't realise, I think, that Tuteye wanted to take it.
And I think that's probably put the result beyond doubt.
Advantage obstruction centre. Advantage obstruction centre.
Good work, Cookie.
2 goals. They'll need to be quick here, England.
Advantage obstruction wing.
Casey Williams might rue that one, but she's probably pretty confident that it's time. And in fact, it is all over. The whistle goes for the end of what can only be described as an exasperating game, really, and Nottingham, New Zealand running out the winner, 41-39. And Kendra, again, a very strange game.
Yes, New Zealand allowed England to come back into that. They nearly gifted it, but you can't take it away from England. They worked very, very hard to keep their intensity, but when they had opportunity, they didn't use it.
And I guess that's the problem for England, isn't it? Because, as you said, they did all that hard work, but just could not put the foot down and really make New Zealand pay. And I guess from a New Zealand point of view, there were passages of play that were really quite outstanding. But then these incredible lapses and inaccuracies.
Yes, the intensity certainly fell away. I mean, you could blame it on the differences in terms of combinations. This tour is about looking at youth and at combinations, and I think both teams have had their fair share of being able to look at their youngsters.
Yep, so again, from Capital FM Arena in Nottingham, I should say it will be relief, will be the feeling in the New Zealand camp. They have beaten England 41-39. Back to you, Andrea, in the studio.
Well, thanks, Jen, for the second morning in a row. We've been biting our nails here in the studio, just a 2-goal margin, and England will just feel so robbed, Tanya Dalton.
Well, they claw their way back. They were playing some outstanding netball, but then in the crucial times, quite soft sort of turnovers.
And we actually said that during the commentary. England don't know how to win. They get to a point where they're pushing and pushing, coming back at a side, but when the crunch is on, they just don't know what to do to get over the line, and that's been their problem for a number of years. And there's nothing we would like better in international netball than for England to actually snatch these games a little bit more often, so it's not more than a 2-horse race.
You look at the score, how low is that? It just shows what a defensive game from both ends. You know, we got plenty of turnover ball down our defence end, so did they. So it was a real tight tussle.
Well, let's crunch the numbers now for that second test match, and I guess the most important number really, 41-39, but considering that the Silver Ferns were up by 9 at the end of the first spell, an incredible comeback by England, Kath.
Yeah, it was pretty even across the board. You look at the turnovers, England made more errors, but basically during the course of the game there were a lot of errors. It still shows us that it's very early on in the season. And the shooting stats are interesting. Tuteye didn't play a big role in this match, but when the pressure was on in that last quarter, she did sink a few good long bombs, didn't she, Terms?
Yeah. And I think the big one there, Whip Yeti came on at half-time. 2 goals out of 5. So, just wasn't getting the ball.
Yeah, pretty ordinary. Let's talk about some other key players for England. Stacey Francis was named the player of the match. She came on at goal defence and was injected into the game with Sonia McCloma. She was awesome.
Yeah, player of the match, and justifiably so. She really made an impact. And some of the stuff she came out for was, we were like, whoa, impressive sort of thing. So for England, it just shows that they have got depth coming through.
Defensively, you look at Mentor, she's got to come back into the system. And then, so what do you do with Francis? Sometimes you look at really good players and you see if you can then move them out to that wing defence position. So it'll be interesting to see what Sue Hawkins does there, because Francis is a real talent. She reads the game well, she comes out for intercepts and has a go. And she was the one who created some life for England coming on at half-time.
There's much talk about wing attack and wing defence, and often they're positions that are dismissed out on court. Let's talk first of all about wing defence. Jolene Henry really stepped up and came up with some match-winning intercepts.
Yeah, when the going got tough, the likes of her, Laura Langman, you know, crucial intercepts, and they came through beautifully. Jolene Henry, again, her attacking play, when she drives that ball through court and it's on in that attacking end, it's beautiful to watch, and our whole timing is just spot on.
Yeah, and the positive for the Silver Ferns is their defensive end. They're turning the ball over a lot for their players. The concern for the players out on court, Thompson had a shocker, basically. There she is trying to vie for a World Championship position, and she really released some ordinary ball when the pressure was on. As a result, it let England back in. Danica Wipoeti, Van Dijk's taken off. There's an opportunity there for her to grab, and she shoots 2 goals. In the last quarter, Ferns shot 5 goals.
Well, it took 7.5 minutes for us to score a goal. I'd love to go back on the stats and have a look at that and see why. I mean, we got enough ball. Thompson got hesitant. So do you look at, is it the ball the shooters are getting, or is it the feeders being, you know what I mean? You've got to have a look and see why has this happened. I'm sure they'll go back and have a look at the replays.
5 turnovers, I can tell you, Anna Thompson, so you're right, T. People do poo-hoo that wing attack position, not anymore. No.
Oh, it's a crucial position,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's that main dominant feeding role and that combination working with the centre in unison. That's the real important part.
It's all about creating balance. You look at defensive play, you can be a good defensive player, but if you haven't got a partner in crime that you understand, then you could look very ordinary, and that's the same in that attacking position. You need a centre and a wing attack who complement each other, and I don't think the Ferns quite had that today.
Well, we're just standing by for some post-match reaction from Nottingham, so stay right where you are, because we'll be back after the break with the Silver Ferns coach, Ruth Aiken. Welcome back to our live coverage of the second Test match between the Silver Ferns and England. Just 2 goals in it again. The end score was 41-39 the Silver Ferns' way after they led by 9 at quarter time. Now, we spoke after the first Test, Tanya Dalton, about how there was a lot to work on for coach Ruth Aiken. Same deal.
Oh, yeah, but they started a lot better, the Ferns, do you know what I mean, in that second quarter as well. But then they seemed to fade in that third quarter, end of the third. They came on, started the third quarter well, then faded, and then it's like they got a bit complacent because some of their turnovers were soft in that last quarter, I thought.
I think there are probably a couple of aspects to it. They do take their foot off the pedal, and there has been talk that the Ferns are underdone going into this international series because England are about to start their main competition, whereas the Fern players are a little bit off the pace. So maybe that goes to show, you know, they got out to a 12-goal lead, and then they probably got tired toward the end and let England in.
Well, speaking of the Silver Ferns coach Ruth Aiken, it's time now to hear from her in Nottingham.
Ruth, it's deja vu. You've won by 2 again.
Yeah, but I think you'd have to agree it was a much more exciting game all throughout, and I think a much more skillful game. Actually, both teams really rose to the occasion.
You build up not a much bigger lead, a bigger lead. You got as far as 12 in front of England. Did that allow you to try your different combinations in the circle?
Yeah, that certainly had been our aim all along, to get players out there, and it was good to see. It's often hard yakka coming off the bench, but no, it was great. I was really proud of the girls.
And again, Camilla Lees had another good start, didn't she, in centre? I mean, she had a good start in Manchester, but again, almost looked like she'd been part of the setup for a while.
Yeah, no, for a young girl, 21, and this is her first Test caps, it's very impressive.
Another player started well, Anna Scarlett. She had some key interceptions to help you build that early lead.
Yeah, she did. I thought she was great. I thought she really had the better of Louisa Brownfield. Then Joe Harden came on and it changed it up, and that's the exciting thing when you've got a bench you can use.
Well, congratulations. You've won the Test series. Now crown it off with a 3-0 win in London.
Sounds like a good plan. Thank you.
See you there.
Yes.
Yes, they've won the Test series, and that, I guess, is the most important thing. Now, here's a lovely fact for you. The last time that netball was played in January, international netball, was back in 1971, and that was the World Champs in Jamaica, and that started on New Year's Eve. So it's been a long time between drinks, and you do have to say that January netball is tough to play.
Well, it's tough for us to even turn up here, do you know what I mean? It is big for them, but that's the challenge that's installed. You know, the World Champs is in July, ANZ Champs, you know, all the different countries' sort of regional play is there, so that's the only time they could do it.
Does it account for the rustiness?
Absolutely. There's no doubt it takes a while to get back into the swing of things. Considering what's happened after the Commonwealth Games, the players will take time, and they want to peak for the World Championship, so not in January. And
well,
lucky wasn't New Year's Eve.
You're correct. Let's hear now from the England coach, Sue Hawkins. She's standing by in Nottingham.
Sue, more disappointment, gone down by 2 goals again.
Yeah, look, our start is our issue. So, you know, we can't afford to let them have 3 or 4 goals before we start shooting. However, you know, the game was influenced, I thought, heavily by the umpiring decisions. And, you know, sending our centre off was the wrong move. And I think that, you know, a persistent call has to become on everyone out on that court because the bodies are out there. And, you know, you pick on one player because she's obstructing. Hello, have a look inside the circle.
Ultimately, though, it didn't actually make that much of a difference because you didn't lose the 2 goals. You managed to score 1, and then New Zealand went with centre passes. But I understand your frustration, but it's just disappointment, isn't it, from an England point of view?
Well, it is because we've lost the series, but, you know, 2 goals is 2 goals, and you've got to be, you know, it's a lot closer than they were at the Commonwealth Games. But, you know, we've got more endeavour out there, and, you know, they're hungry and they're really disappointed. And, you know, the 3rd test, it will be a really good one. And I exposed, you know, my youngsters out there, and under pressure, I brought the senior players back out there, and they did a damn good job.
Final question. You finished strongly in Manchester, but didn't go with that starting 7 here. Will you go with a starting 7 that finished so strongly in London?
Oh, look, I'll make that decision in the next couple of days. We've got a few things to look at on the DVD, and then we'll assess it again. But, you know, bodies are out there. You know, people are hanging on our shooters, and you know, it needs to be tidied up. You know, you get a bit sick of this.
Well, we'll see you in London. Thanks, Sue.
Absolutely.
Well, some pretty harsh words there from Sue Hawkins. She said that her side showed more endeavour, which is great. But, boy, pretty critical of the umpiring decisions. And yet I felt we didn't even notice the umpires.
And hanging on your shooters. Irene van Dijk virtually has someone on her back every game she plays. So, you know, it's both sides. But like you said, I don't think there was anything...
Kath, you're smirking.
Well, it's a passionate coach, and I'm one for not saying much after the game until you calm down. So that was someone who obviously felt that they'd been hard done by. One of her players got sent off, and that's a big call in netball. For a player to be sent off, you have to do some serious stuff. And because we weren't sidelined, we couldn't see exactly what was going on behind the play. But, you know, Sue was pretty angry about it, obviously. But it's a tough game now. It's very physical, and I think you need to deal with the cards that you're dealt.
What's in store for England now?
Well, they're going to come out firing in that 3rd test. You can see they're hurting. You know, there was once a day, if England lost to the Silver Ferns by 2, they would have been quite happy with their performance.
Right.
They want it. They want to win. And I think this is, you know, a great opportunity for them in 2 days.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think it'll be a very physical clash. There's no doubt about that. So Sue might have some words after that game. But it's close and it's exciting, and hopefully we're in for another good game.
Time to get the post-match reaction now from one of the New Zealand stars, Laura Langman.
Well, Laura Langman, 2 goals in Manchester, just 3 goals in Nottingham. What are you trying to do to the New Zealand fans?
Yeah, I think it shows great character. You know, we seem to have a lull after a break, which is a bit of a concern, but to be able to kind of turn it around whilst in a match, I think is really encouraging. But we definitely are going to look at how we finish in quarters, especially that last quarter.
Now, certainly the attack end without Temepara George, without Liana Leota, you're in the thick of it there. How hard is it with this sort of rejigged attack?
Yeah, you know, it's a great opportunity for us. So although, you know, we are a bit slim on the wing attack side, I think, you know, Anna's giving it a good fist, I'm giving it a go. And I think it's great for us in terms of going back to our own positions, what we're learning there. So, yeah, I think we're doing a good job.
And take us through what happened in that 2nd quarter, because you had a big lead. England called that timeout and made all those changes, and suddenly they were a new team. What happened there?
I think it just shows what an injection of energy can do to a side, and I think that's a critical moment we need to recognise. It's one of those moments you just need to ride the wave. It's nervous energy that's out there, and you just need to keep to the game plan, keep to the basics, and just play.
OK, 1 to go in London. What will you be looking for at the O2?
I think we've got all the goods, but we're lacking the big C, consistency, so probably 4 consistent quarters of good gameplay.
Well, we'll look forward to it, Laura. Thank you very much.
Pleasure. See ya.
Well, without doubt, Laura Langman, one of the stars today. She worked tirelessly, and you'd have to say with Millie Lees and Anna Thompson in that wing attack position, not as experienced. A lot was asked of Laura Langman.
I thought Langman was outstanding, and you know, it's funny how the shooters and the defensive players bring it through look for Laura, because the way you can pretty much chuck a ball up and she'll pull it in. And her fees, I thought, were outstanding.
She was brilliant, but you've got to look at the way she plays. She's more of a mover. She needs someone with some injection and some speed there, and she doesn't really have that. They're missing George and missing Leota, and Silver Ferns were really exposed in that respect.
The other bit we haven't seen so much in these two tests is, the way the feeders fire the ball back to the head, back to the different players. Yeah, different.
And so why is that happening?
Well, obviously Thompson and Lees, they're not, you know what I mean? Yeah. Temapara and Laura, they're so used to it, and the speed of the ball, which then the defensive heads were down and they could fire it in. So something for them to work on.
Well, a player who stepped up under pressure was Maria Tutaia, the Silver Ferns goal attack, and in fact she was the most prolific scorer out there with 26 goals. Doesn't sound like many, but when the score's only 41-39, it is. Let's now hear from her in Nottingham.
Maria, that would be something that would be called a torrid encounter. Take it through. What was it like out there?
Oh God, I think we've used all our jail cards, eh? Oh look, it just goes to show that England are a team to fight against, and they've done really well in terms of rebuilding their infrastructure and everything that's gone around in their team. So we can't afford to play like that against a team like this. So hopefully next game it won't be like this.
Well, that's right. You mentioned rebuilding. What are you going to do to rebuild for that game in London?
Oh God, I think just doing the basics really well, pass and catch, turn fully, letting the ball into space and really grabbing it, because their defence are a lot tighter than it has been before. I think they've worked really well with that, and just finishing our shots. We missed way too many last test and this test, on my behalf especially, but yeah, let's hope that doesn't happen again.
Well, thanks Maria, we're looking forward to it.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
She's always a joy to hear from Maria Tutaia, but it was so good to see her step up under pressure.
Yeah, and from out wide, under pressure as a shooter, you look and you think, should I shoot? But she does it without even thinking, and I think that's a good thing. She took charge. Wapiti was struggling. They couldn't find her. McClymber had her covered. So Maria, when needed, came to the party.
Yeah, better than the first test. I think she shot 58% in the first, 74% in this test. So she's getting better. But again, it's the consistency. She started off, she was absolutely on fire. Then she went missing for a while. But when the pressure was on, she really stood up. So hopefully she can continue with that.
So 2 tests and 2 goals, the margin in both of those test matches. It started, of course, in Manchester on Sunday, 42-40. Today, the second test, 39-41. The Silver Ferns again dominant. And we're with you Thursday morning, live for test number 3. The series, though, already in the bag for the Silver Ferns. As for us here at Sky Sport, well, we're owning netball this year. You better believe that. ANZ Championships returns February the 13th, and it is exclusively live on Sky Sport. There's double rounds this year, there's no bye rounds, and the competition's condensed into 12 weeks, so it's going to be an absolute boomer. And then midweek, yes, your point of netball contact on court, Wednesdays at 7:30. Both Tanya and Kath are hosts of that, with Anna Stanley and Bernice Meni, and girls, it's going to be sensational this year, isn't it?
It's going to be brilliant, and we always have a special guest. One of the best players from each week will come in and join us, and that's what people like to hear from.
And some of the things that you'll be doing in the studio?
Oh, so some of our top players are here in studio giving their tips. The likes of Irene van Dijk, why is she world class?
And we'll be asking them the hard questions, won't we, T?
We will. Yes, of course you will, particularly the Daltonator, as we know. Well, we've really enjoyed having your company here this morning with our live coverage of the Silver Ferns facing off against England. And it's another one in the bag for the Ferns by just 2 goals, though. We'll look forward to seeing you same time, same place on Thursday morning. Bye for now.